Pretty stoked. Headlights are in. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. A couple of videos ago I mentioned that the headlights on my 3rd gen went out. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is my 98 Toyota 3rd gen 4Runner. I've done this project about 2 or 3 times now at this point, and it's definitely not my favorite thing in the world. I have never done it and filmed the process. I've gotten quite a few questions over the past few years on how you do DIY projector headlights. That's what I'm going to do in today's video. I obviously already have projector headlights in the truck at the moment, and I haven't fully deep dived into why they failed. A couple years back, I did roll the truck out in Utah on Hell's Gate, and I had just a normal like O'Reilly's battery in the truck. It spilled some battery acid onto some of the wiring harness, and over the last year or two, all of those wires have corroded and just eaten themselves away. So I'm assuming that that's the majority of the problem, but everything was still working. So although some of the loom was kind of deteriorated, all the lights still worked how they should. I'm a little bit more concerned that there was a short, seeing as that loom had deteriorated and I fried one of the ballasts. But anyways, today I'm gonna be pulling the headlights out of this truck, getting them all pulled apart and getting the old projectors pulled out. And I have ordered a new set of projectors that I'm gonna be throwing in the truck and hopefully getting some headlights back in this thing. Just to start, I'll go ahead and show you the ones that are in the truck at the moment. These are just a cheap Amazon brand. I don't remember the name. I think that the projector itself is by Xenon. So these housings are from Eagle Eye. The main benefit to these housings are they're completely clear, they're glass. Some of the housings have this weird kind of distorted texture on it, as well as some little nipples in the glass. These ones don't have any of that. I think it's a little under 200 bucks to order both of these housings. These things have held up really nicely. The projectors themselves as well, even though they were kind of a cheaper budget option, those things have been great also. Until I fried those wires, these things have never had an issue. If you're looking to do this project, there's definitely quite a few options. There's a very wide price range that you can choose from as far as building projector headlights for your vehicle. And this isn't 4Runner specific, you can do it in any car. But for today's video, working on the 4Runner. Basically, what I have to do is pull these headlights off of the truck, and then these are glass housings. So you can throw these in the oven and peel the glass off in order to get to that projector in there. And then we will be able to basically make the repair, throw the new ones in there. So we'll get to all that in this video. There is quite a few steps to this process, so bear with me. It's a fun process. It's just a little time consuming, and it includes using the oven in the house and all that good stuff. So I will show you guys the new projectors that I bought. I did get these off Amazon as well, but these are Morimoto's, still relatively affordable. I think this whole kit right here was like 90 bucks. They do come with a pretty cool switchback shroud. This is all going to be just white backlight. You can see the LED lights in there. Basically, these are just wired into turn signals or your running lights. Basically, however you want to wire these, you can do so. So pretty excited about those. I am going to be switching it up. The ones that are in the truck I had painted white, but I'm not going to mess with painting any of this stuff. They're going to be black. This is a little bit different than the projector that I have in the truck at the moment. The one that's in the truck at the moment still has a removable bulb, which is definitely beneficial. I'm a little bit concerned with the fact that these don't have removable bulbs, but this is an LED projector and it comes with the fan and all that good stuff in there. These things should be pretty durable and last a long time. They should be nice and bright, but that is the one thing that does kind of concern me, is not being able to swap out the bulbs. With that being said, I have never swapped the bulbs out in these projectors, and I've had them in the truck for maybe 2 years. So even if they do fail after a year or two, it's really not the biggest deal in the world. It's not the hardest job. It's just, I don't really look forward to doing it, seeing as that I've done it 3 times already. The only reason I've done it so many times is when I first did projector headlights, I chose the cheapest option that was possibly available on the internet. And I definitely recommend avoiding the cheapest option. They didn't fail, they just didn't look that good. The lights looked cheap, and I ended up upgrading relatively quickly after that. So yeah, if you do this project, go in the mid-range or the upper price range, just so you don't have to redo it every other year. Before I get pulling the truck apart, I will say that this kit did not come with a wiring harness. It's just the projectors and the shrouds. If you haven't already installed projectors in the truck, you will need to get a wiring harness, as well as ballasts and everything to run your new headlights. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood, start pulling the grill off, and basically try my best to walk you guys through the process of getting the headlights out and getting them pulled apart. Headlights are out of the truck, and it's been a little while since I've pulled these out. So I have some more stuff to deal with before I get to working on the headlights. The last time I did these projectors, I reused these projectors and shrouds, but I replaced them with pretty cheap Amazon halos. And there's 2 separate halos in there, so there's 2 separate ballasts, which is definitely not ideal. As you can see, this is what I was talking about in the beginning with the wires kind of eating themselves. They're all getting pretty shredded in here. So this is one halo, and then this is your projector. This is your other halo. So there was a whole bunch of wiring that is really not necessary, and I'm going to be cleaning up this terrible rat's nest worth of wiring that I have in here. It's all wired down into these, which I had wired in as just kind of running lights. These weren't turn signals or anything. A lot of you guys know what these are. I made these ones myself, but you can buy these off of like SRQ, and they basically sit underneath of your headlight just for some additional lighting. Really don't serve a purpose, and the new projectors that I'm going to be using are all white light. These are orange or amber. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove these. I have a second set that don't have holes drilled in them, so I'll be replacing these with factory filler plates and getting rid of these things altogether. As you can see, it just adds to the mess of wires. Not that this matters at this point, but I think I found my issue. Pretty sure this is the inline fuse that goes to my headlight ballast. And yeah, this is fried. I'm assuming it got stuck under the battery, popped it, and then I don't know. But either way, that's not good. I have some more inline fuses, so I will try to reuse these ballasts, get this thing replaced, and get some nice lume on everything and tidy everything up. Got all this extra stuff pulled out of the truck. I got the battery out and then pulled my windshield washer reservoir out. I made this thing from Walmart for like $2. Just put some little grommets and some inlets on there. Pretty easy. That's a different video. But next thing on my list, to start getting to the projectors, you have to strip down the entire housing. So you got to take this plastic backing off of the headlight. Additionally, to getting the backings pulled off, you got to pull these little clips off, and they should have 4 of them, 1 in each corner of the headlight. Once you get to this point and you get the plastic backings off of your headlight housings, there's a couple more things that you need to remove. You want to pull your springs off of the headlight so you don't lose those. And then from there, you want to pull these 2 little adjustment studs off of the housing as well. The goal here basically is to remove everything that's plastic and could potentially melt. These things aren't really in the way once you start to pull the glass off, but you do have to throw the headlights in the oven for a couple minutes, and the more stuff that you can take off and prevent damaging, the better. There's 2 little breather hoses on each headlight. You want to remove both of those. They're both made of rubber. Don't lose those. I've done this job quite a few times at this point, so I've gotten a little bit careless with it, I suppose, but definitely remember that, especially if you're reusing the factory headlights out of your vehicle, most of this stuff is plastic or like cast aluminum or basically just fragile material. So take your time, be careful if something's not going right away. Try to work around it and see what's making it stuck, because these things are very prone to breaking. These headlights specifically have these little plastic clips on them that like to snap in half. Pretty much anything that's on a Toyota that's made of plastic likes to break. So just take your time and try to keep everything in one piece. Okay, so we got the headlights all stripped down, and now they are ready to go in the oven. These are only gonna go in the oven for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. So you will have to leave your wires dangling out of the back. I'm gonna go ahead, go inside, get the oven preheating, and then I will show you guys how to get them baked and get the glass removed. right, just like that, got the new headlights in. Turbo shrouds look really sick compared to the old ones. The old ones were just the little boring orange halo, and these look a lot more high quality in my opinion. The glass is definitely getting pretty used, so she's a little blurry. It looks better in person. The video kind of distorts it a little bit, but yeah, headlights are in, corner lights are in. Like I said, took the dotted lights out. Maybe I'll make another pair with white lights. It might be worth it at this point, seeing as that I already have the little fixtures over there cut out with holes in them. I could just buy new LED lights. But pretty stoked. Headlights are in. It's the next day. I got the headlights finished up last night, obviously, as you guys saw. But what I didn't show you off film was, if you guys are familiar with projector headlights, there's a cutoff line. Basically, the benefit of that is that the light stops at a certain point. Meaning that if I'm driving towards you down the road, my light cuts off right here underneath of your eye line, so it doesn't blind you when I'm coming towards you in oncoming traffic or, you know, opposing lanes on the highway or whatever. I turned them on to adjust the cutoff line, but basically I turned the headlights on and my projectors were upside down. I didn't bore you guys with showing you any of that, and it was dark out here, but basically what I had to do was pull the housing back off the truck, undo the collar that's in the back of the projector, and then spin everything 180 and tighten everything back up. So it really only took me 10-15 minutes to fix that problem. There was no definition of top or bottom on the projector, so I was kind of just guessing. And I did test the lights in my living room, so I should have known better and done a little bit more thorough testing, I guess. But either way, problem solved. I'm going to go ahead and throw these on, and then I'll wait till a little bit later tonight, and I will show you guys how to adjust the cutoff line, and then show you guys these projectors on the truck when it's not so bright outside. All right, so this is what I was talking about with your cutoff. You can see where each individual projector is aimed. The driver's side's a little bit lower than the passenger. The goal would be to raise these up to where this line is pretty much symmetrical all the way across. The idea of this is when you're shining light down the road, people that are coming towards you on the other side of the road are not getting blinded. And like I said, this just kind of aims the light a little bit more direct at where you're actually driving versus expanding it all over the road. All right, now let's look at the headlights on the first gen. So this is kind of a terrible example, but as you can see, the light is kind of only aimed in one spot here, and it shoots directly in front of the truck where you're looking down the road, but it definitely is not as great at lighting up the road as the projectors are. I'm gonna go ahead and turn them on side by side. So we'll turn the third gen on. As you can see, the projectors kind of are aimed a little bit more towards the road and where you're actually headed versus just off in the distance. All right, I pulled the other truck inside and I'm finishing up adjusting the headlights. As you can see, your cutoff line now is pretty much even all the way across. Just referencing back to earlier in the video when we were taking apart the plastic backing of the housing, there's two plastic nuts on the back of this headlight. And essentially all you do is adjust those in or out, and that'll kind of decide the angle of your headlight. So you just kind of play with those until you get your line straight across or somewhere that you're happy with, and then that's it, good to go. So these are good enough. I'm happy with this. It's a lot better than they used to be. See how shaky they are. That one's not terrible. This one's pretty bad. The hardware
probably because that one doesn't have tape on it.
The hardware on these headlights are pretty busted, but I don't know. You'll notice it when we're on the road and it's jumping up and down like that.
Film me.
Can you see me?
Yep.
That's pretty much it. We got the headlights adjusted. I'm pretty excited to have some new projectors in the truck. I said in the beginning of the video, but last weekend we fully missed out on going camping because my headlights didn't work. So we'll have to go and break them in this weekend. I don't really do a whole lot of night driving around town, but definitely need those things when we're going out camping and driving up to the mountains. Pretty excited. I think the black looks really good. It's going to be weird adjusting to not have amber on the front of my truck anymore, but I'll live. I almost just broke my back trying to push the first gen back in the garage because it didn't want to start. But it turned out there was just a bad battery connection, and I needed Bo to come out here and point out all my flaws to make it work, and we got it started. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. It definitely wasn't the most thorough thing in the world, but this project's not the most complicated thing. There's definitely hundreds of other videos like this one that you can follow along with if you're trying to get a little bit more in depth. But anyways, that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.